Well, that was utter, utter garbage from minute one. Usually I say, "How's it going, everybody?" But I know how it's going. It's going really, really badly. Leeds United have just lost 1-0 at St Andrews against Birmingham City. A late penalty gives them the win after a Dan James error. Just before we get into this review in a bit more detail, guys, as always, please smash that like button if you can. It really does just help get the video out there to more people. Please subscribe if you are brand new to the channel as well. Share all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And of course, hit that notification bell so that you're aware of when I'm uploading and going live. Right, that's all out of the way. Let's get into the review. Now, I don't know what else we could have really expected from the squad that was announced for today's game. At the time of recording this, I'm not aware of what's happened with Luis Sinisterra. There was reports last night suggesting that, like Willie Gnonto, he had refused to play. But obviously he did get a knock against Cardiff, which meant he only played a few minutes against Shrewsbury. So it could just be that he is injured and had to sit this one out. I hope that, well, I don't hope that's the case, but I do, in a sense of I don't want him to have refused to play. Because if he has refused to play as well, there's a real issue, a real issue in the camp. Obviously, Shackleton starts today. I'm not a huge fan of Jamie Shackleton in general, but I thought today was all right. But he's not enough. Thought Archie Gray and Ampadu had a decent game. Obviously, that partnership seems to be working quite well. And let's be honest, guys, up until the 92nd minute, it was a very, very even game of football. Both teams, absolute trash. I don't think Birmingham deserved that win at all. That's not me being bitter. I don't think either team deserved a win in that game. I think a draw would have been a fair result, and it was heading that way. But I was messaging Jer from Leeds United, The View, on Twitter whilst the game was going on, and we were both saying, that there's just no tempo. There's just it's not free flowing. It's not intense. It's not high energy. It's just slow. It's passive. It's boring. Is that down to personnel that we had out? Yes, we've got a lot of injured players. And speaking of players who are out as well, the fact that we have such a thin squad at the minute, given the injuries and lack of signings, the fact that Willie Gnonto has refused to play makes me even more angry at him. Like I said on my rant last night, if you want to leave, do it respectfully. Turn up, play the games that you're at the club for, and if you get a move away, you get a move away. But it just makes me more angry at him, that he's refused to sit this one out, given the thin squad. And I really hope that Cine has not asked to be left out either. And I hope that it is just an injury and that he can come back. Cody Drame on the bench, unused, when Luke Ayling's out on the pitch putting performances in like that. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't an awful performance from Luke, but it wasn't a great one either. The amount of times you heard the commentary saying, and he skips past Luke Ayling, and he skips past Luke Ayling. Luke Ayling can't catch his man. Oh, he gets past Luke Ayling again. He gets beaten far too easily. That Dembele for Birmingham on their left-hand side, really good player, by the way. He was just getting past him at ease, at absolute ease. Now, as I say, a massive caveat to everything I'm saying is that Birmingham weren't great either. As I say, they didn't deserve that win. And I think even the true Birmingham fans at that game today will probably admit that as well. It was a very, very even contest. Both teams as bad as each other. Very boring game of football to watch. But there was still those errors of judgment, the lack of concentration, stray passes. And it was a very young team out there today. And I put a lot of, the lack of concentration, the stray passes down to that. You've got Archie Gray in there, 17 years old, who I thought did have a maybe not as good as Shrewsbury and Cardiff, but he had a decent enough performance, in my opinion, as did Ethan Ampadu. Thought Cresswell and Strauch were a decent partnership. They didn't really let anything get past them, really. Dan James, though, for me, his decision making is baffling. He's so predictable. The runs that he makes, how he attacks fullbacks, it's the same thing. It's rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. His balls into the box from corners and open play, abysmal. And obviously, he's at fault for the penalty. Now, I get it. Any of the Leeds players could have made that mistake, but given the game he was having, and then he's done that at the end. I mean, again, it's an error in judgment, bad decision making. Yeah, the Birmingham player looked for it a little bit, but there was contact there. He collided with him. Now, to play devil's advocate, if that ball would have reached that fullback or whatever position that Birmingham player was playing in, it wasn't that dangerous where, there was Strout, there was Cresswell, Ayling, there were defenders back to try and prevent anything that may have occurred after that. I'm not saying James should have completely left him, but it's just how he's approached that situation, and it's ultimately led to a penalty right on the stroke of the 90th minute. Worst possible time. But like I say, I don't know what else more we could have expected from that squad that was out there today. We bring Joe Rodon on for his debut and we put him up front just out of pure desperation. Ruta comes on, and yeah, I think he looked a bit brighter than what Gellart did, but not much more. Poveda didn't really have the impact that I wanted him to have in the game. He kept drifting out wide to try and get more involved. It just wasn't working for him. It was just one of them games. I thought Byron was okay. Melier didn't really have anything to do. I think there was one shot they had in the second half that he went down to the ground to prevent. And then obviously with the penalty, it's unfortunate. It comes off Melier's feet and it still finds its way in. Now, the tempo in which we're playing at the minute, is it due to the personnel? Is it due to obviously, well, it is down to the personnel out on that pitch. It is down to the fact that we've got about 10 or 11 players out injured or refusing to play. And it's because the overriding factor here is that he's not being backed enough at the minute. We've brought 4 players in, fair enough, all decent signings, but we need way, way more. Hamer's joined Sheffield United. Understandably, he's gone to the Premier League. Obviously, Max Aarons was on the verge of joining Leeds. He's gone to Bournemouth. Again, Premier League. I get that. But there are still realistic targets out there that Leeds United can go and get. 20 days left of the transfer window. 20. We play West Brom in 6 days. West Brom, who have just picked up a win against Swansea today, I believe, 2-0. Again, I think that'll arguably be harder than Birmingham and Cardiff, and we've just been beaten by Birmingham. So I'm not looking forward to West Brom at all, unless we make some, or at least one signing over the next week. But for me, we need another bare minimum 3 more signings. We need another midfielder, we need a number 10, and we need a striker, plus the players to come back in from injury. Whilst I'm recording, I'm just going to check Twitter just to see if there's been an update about Sinistera. No, I'm not seeing anything at the minute. LUFC Lewis has just tweeted lifeless, and I completely agree. Completely agree. There was just no excitement there. There was no good patterns of play. It was just very boring, very slow, and very passive, and does not fill me with a lot of confidence moving forward unless we make signings that are of enough quality. Because I bet Daniel Farke is coming out and saying all the right things, but inside he will be absolutely raging at the fact that he's not being backed properly, in my opinion, and a lot of our opinions as well. The squad is so thin at the minute. It's so young and unexperienced in this league. Yeah, there's a bit of experience in there, but what is it? Strauch, Ayling, and Melier, Shackleton maybe, who've played there before. Pervader's played there before, but you've got Archie Gray. I know Cresswell and Gellart have, but they're still young players. They're still developing. There's been no indicator that Jack Harrison's leaving the club. He's still to come back. Junior Firpo is still on the books. I forgot about him. He's still to come back. Adams will probably go. Nonto's definitely going to go now. Sin is to come back. Somerville is to come back. So, we have got good players that can come back and obviously have a positive effect on our play. But we definitely need signings now. And if the 49ers are not watching that today, thinking that we need to back Daniel Farke, then I really don't know what they're playing at. I hope that Parag Marate's interview on the podcast, the official Leeds United podcast, wasn't a lot of bollocks, and that he's actually telling the truth. This aggressive window. Yes, I get aggressive can mean retaining some of our key players, but it's just not looking good at the minute. 19th in the league after 2 games with only 1 point. And the only competitive win we've got is against a League One team in the Carabao Cup, which we, in essence, made difficult for ourselves. Like I say, guys, passive, slow, as LUFC Lewis has said, lifeless, and just very unentertaining to watch. As I say, Birmingham, if there's Birmingham fans watching, look, you can have your own opinion, but you didn't deserve to win that game at all. Neither did we, because we were just as bad. A draw would have been a very fair result in that game. But the late error from Dan James has ultimately led to Birmingham City getting all 3 points at St Andrews this afternoon. And yeah, there's not really a lot more I can say on it, guys. Just absolute trash, utter gash from minute 1 until minute 96 or whatever it was. And like I say, guys, unless we make some signings, forget promotion. We ain't even making playoffs. We'll be lucky to get top 10 if we keep this squad. Believe me. Believe me. So let's just hope that the 49ers get the fingers out of their asses and start injecting some money into this squad and help Daniel Farke because he deserves the help. Very good coach at this level. Once we get adequate signings, hopefully we'll see Leeds United pick up some results. We'll leave it there then, guys. We'll leave it there for the review. I'm sorry it's been a bit bleak, but let's be honest, this whole week has been very bleak, hasn't it, in the world of Leeds United? So, yeah, apologies for that. Hopefully we can see more positive games which will lead to positive uploads as soon as possible. Just before we finish, guys, the last say will be live on the channel tomorrow at some point. I'm not sure what time it'll be yet, but keep a lookout for that. I will be live on the channel getting all of your guys' thoughts and opinions of this game today. On your way out, please smash a like on this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. Share all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Try and enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.